Luke says, why are you avoiding the designer tier list video? So to be very honest, for guys that don't know, Luke is a very trusty member of the channel. And Luke kindly made like a fashion tier list. Like let me show you guys actually, so I can put it, see if I still have the link. I'll put it on the screen now so you guys can see. Luke was so kind as to make this. So I plan on, I don't know if I'm going to make a video or do a live stream, whatever one works better, whichever one you guys prefer. I want to do a live stream. It's so weird, right? Because with YouTube, doing a video gets you more views, and it means I'll make more money doing videos than live streams. But the reason why I end up streaming every time is because I think that my audience gets more from me streaming than making a video. You get more context, because if I make a video, I'm just going to tell you my opinion. And if you have any further questions, you talk to each other in the comments and that's it. If I have a live stream, I give you my opinion, but then you ask questions along the way and I answer those along the way as well. So that's why I just think there's more value with a live stream, but obviously not everyone watches the live streams because they're really long. So you have to kind of weigh it. But the reason why I haven't made this video yet is solely because I cannot be asked for the amount of hate I'm going to get when I make it. I will make it eventually. Don't worry, Luke. At some point, it could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months. But I will eventually make this video because it's such a good... I feel like so much education in terms of fashion history can come from me making a video like this. But I just know I'm going to piss people off. For example, I'll give you a very quick example. I don't think Christian Dior, obviously he's a fashion legend, but if you put him on a tier list against so many other legends, like he's going to be so many tiers below someone like Cristóbal Balenciaga, for example. But that might piss people off, for example. People might be, oh my God, this guy doesn't know fashion. And people are going to get mad. And obviously, inherently, I don't know who everyone's favorite designer is, but if I have your favorite designer down low on the tier list, people are going to get offended. They're going to take it as a personal attack on them. And I just can't be asked at the present moment. So that's why I haven't done it. I just can't be asked. But one day I'm just going to be on demon time. And the day that I'm on demon time, I'm just going to do it. The day I'm on demon time, like even now, I'm just looking at the faces and I'm already putting the tier list in my head. I'm already sorting out the designers. And I can see how pissed off certain people would be. Also, Luke, why is Mima Viglizio? Is that Mima Viglizio in the tier list? Why did you put Mima Viglizio in the tier list? Unless I'm not looking properly, it could be someone else. That picture looks like Mima. Dude, mushroom absorb radiation. They use them to clean up Chernobyl. Fashion houses not into saving the world. Yeah, I know. But like I said, fashion is very slow to adopt any form of technology. It's just how it goes. Science. So funny. I got a Solar Junior a few years ago. It seems so revolutionary in 2015, but the tech is fundamentally old with a novel application. Exactly. But I still appreciate it though, because someone has to make these science applications to fashion. And since no one wants to do it, it's good to see some brands do it. I will also say that as much as I say a lot of this technology is old, there are designers that have also done it a really long time ago. So someone like Issey Miyake, I think that people do, and maybe this is something, let me see if Issey Miyake is on this tier list actually. If he's not, we need to add him because he's definitely going to be way at the top. Big reason being that when people think of Issey Miyake, I think they just think of pleats and shit. Issey Miyake is one of the most innovative designers of all times. Of all time, the way he made new fabrics, new ways of thinking about the way you design clothes, new ways of presenting clothes. Like Issey Miyake is, to me, one of the most revolutionary designers of all time, to me. And I think it's such a disservice that some things that we see as innovative right now, Issey Miyake did that shit in the 90s. Like people will be like, oh my God, look at this like bamboo jacket. And I'm like, Issey Miyake did that ages ago. Issey Miyake was using bamboo to make clothes ages ago. All these like pineapple to make fabrics. Issey Miyake did that ages ago. Ages ago. So once again, even though fashion is slow to adopt these things, there are also designers, when you look in fashion history, that have done all this stuff anyway. Also, another thing about this tier list is you're going to get even though probably before I start the tier list, I'm going to have a disclaimer like, guys, there are so many legendary designers across fashion history that if I was to do the most accurate tier list, it would have to have 2,000 plus names. And who the hell is going to do that? So it's just the curated list of designers. There's still going to be so many comments of, oh, you left this person out. How can you have a tier list and so-and-so isn't there? How can you have a tier list and this person isn't there? How can you have a tier list and that person isn't there? The fact that this person is not on the list, how can there even be a fashion tier list? So there's going to be a lot of that too. You can't satisfy everyone with the tier list. It's just never going to happen. So like I said, I just need to be on some extreme demon time to do this tier list, to be honest. And I'll try to be objective. Like even looking at this list, for example, just to give you some ideas of how I'm going to judge things. Madeleine Vionnet is my favorite designer. However, let me look at how many tiers there are. Yeah, so I wouldn't put Madeleine Vionnet in the S tier, even though she's my favorite designer, only because if I'm being objective, designers like Alexander McQueen, Cristóbal Balenciaga, Issey Miyake have just done more for fashion historically, innovation-wise, that if I'm being realistic, there's no way you can put Madeleine Vionnet on the same level with people like Cristóbal Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen, Issey Miyake. So that, for example, yeah, I will add more tiers, actually. I think there needs to be more tiers. But that's an example. So I won't even have my personal bias there. I'll be very objective. Luke says it's more fun if you add more tiers. I'll write it down to add more tiers. Anyway, that's my long-winded way of answering your question, Luke, as to why I've been avoiding doing the video. I probably have to have another disclaimer that every single designer in this list is a legendary designer in some respect. Maybe not all. Because I think in this list there might be Dilara Findakoglu. I don't know if I'll go as far as to call her a fashion legend. Which is why I said that I think Luke is a bit mean, because whether I think Dilara is a good designer or not, in a list that contains Azzedine Alaïa, I'm looking at some of the people there, Azzedine Alaïa, Elsa Schiaparelli, Alexander McQueen, Cristóbal Balenciaga, Coco Chanel, it's just unfair. It's honestly just unfair. So there's that. But I will have to have the caveat that all these designers, bar maybe a few, are actually successful designers and are really legendary. So I'm comparing them to each other. There's already a base level of where this list starts, but what I'm doing in the tier list is comparing them to each other. Because I know there'll be people that get sensitive and make it out like I'm saying someone's a trash designer just because they're at the bottom of the tiers. But that's not necessarily the case. Some of them, it could just be a time thing. Like, I think that right now, I'm just looking at the list once again, I'm kind of almost doing the tier list without doing it. What have you guys done to me? But I'm looking at the list now, and I'm seeing Kane and Amia's face. Now, I cannot objectively put Kane and Amiya on the same level or higher than someone like Yohji Yamamoto, right? That is more so a time thing. But Kane and Amiya, to me, is an extremely innovative designer. So even if I put him quite low, because maybe a lot of names on this list, just impact-wise, have had more impact, on a skill level, he's as skilled as a lot of the designers on this list. So there are so many different parameters that you can use to judge it. But me putting Kane and Amiya on a lower tier doesn't mean that I think of him less as a designer that people might make out when I make the video. It's just you can't put him on the same level as a McQueen or you just can't. Impact-wise, time-wise, you can't. Or like Margiela, you can't put Kane and Amiya on the same level with Margiela. How many designers has Margiela influenced? You just can't do that objectively. So that, like I said, when I do the video, a lot of people will be in their feelings. I feel like a lot of people take it personally. There might be a lot of people that will be like, I'm unsubscribing. How dare you put my favorite designer on on the bottom tier? And I'll just have to deal with that. This is already the. This is actually true because then I could make an updated tier list of new age designers where it's a bit more fair. This YouTube channel runs on your support. If you want to support the channel, you can subscribe to my Patreon. You'll gain access to exclusive content that includes everything from my Patreon podcast, where I give a behind-the-scenes insight into the fashion industry, as well as a fashion book club, where I review my favorite fashion books. You can also check out my fashion ebook, which highlights the best fashion journalists to follow, definitions of common fashion terminology, and how to determine what a good source of fashion information is. The links to everything are in the description below.